Alright, let's talk about Remnant from the Ashes. I've been wanting to talk about this when it was released for the March PS Plus game, and I just didn't get around to it, so let's do it before y'all lose the option of adding to your library at least. It's a soul-like game, it's a co-op game. It was released on August 20th, 2019, and it was developed by Gunfire Games. This game falls into the randomly generated category, and that's because you can't encounter all the bosses and all the enemies, get all the armor sets and guns and everything on your first run. You have to either reset your world, start a new game with a new character, or join someone else's world. The game is pretty short, but it has replayability. As mentioned before, you can't get everything in one run, so you have to either join other people's games or restart it or reset your world. And that itself is one of the fun elements of the game, replayability. Gathering the resources to level up your guns, getting all the armor sets, trinkets, rings, etc. Which again, you cannot find and get all of them in one run. And these are not just cosmetic items. Armors can be really cool and affect your playstyle by a lot. Perks on the weapons as well can change the game drastically. Whether you want to go for, more stealth or distance engagement, or you want to teleport in and focus on your melee attacks. Whether you want to go for mobility, or you want to go for a shield, you want to go defensive, you want to bring heals with you, all perks that you can put on your guns. Or you can do what I call an alt, the ability Stormbringer. You can just basically do a whole area of effect. Go the AoE routes. There's RPG elements, whether you help one character in the game and get their armor set or weapon, or choose to help the other person that they're, against. Conversations in the game are not pointless. There's a ton of different characters that you can talk to and learn about the lore. And not only are you going to get more insight into the world, none of these conversations, especially if you exhaust all the options for them, will go unrewarded. Whether it's like a weapon, armor set, or ring that you're going to get from a vendor. Let's go to the crux of things. Shooting. Shooting is pretty fun. Guns have weight, the impact is cool, the animations are cool. Let's talk about abilities. Abilities are great. There are a ton of variety that you can go for, and they're all, I wouldn't say all of them are amazing, but there are amazing abilities, and they're good enough for you to be like, alright, I'm just going to use this for the rest of the game, and not worry about how, let's say, inadequate the other ones are. There's a ton of enemies, enemy types. There's a lot of variety and combination. So you can be in an area and expect like this type of enemy in this area, and then on your second or third run, you're gonna go to a similar area, like it's decorated similarly but with different enemies. The weapon and armor variety is there. There's a ton of stuff to gather. Like I said, you have to go to bosses and kill them a certain way to get a certain weapon. Or decide to kill a certain person instead of helping them to get a certain weapon or armor set. I think any player can sit down and try to think of all the cool things that could be added to this game, but the bare minimum, if you want to call it, what is there right now, it works well. And you're not going to be bored, especially when you know that you can go back to the game and try different things. Try different routes, or just the fact that you're meeting different enemy types, you're going to get different rewards. All around, I would give this game a 7 or 8, 9 max. It's not like a God of War game. If you're reserving 9 and 10s for only like masterpieces, it's not a masterpiece, but it has a lot of co-op ability. Up to 3 players can play the whole story, and it has replayability. As I mentioned before, like I've played the game twice or 3 times, beat it twice, and I still don't have all the armor sets. I do have a lot of the weapons. I've leveled up a lot of stuff. The traits are amazing. You get more and more trait points, and you can add to your arsenal these basically passive perks. You only have basically a few hours before the free PS Plus games for April are released, which are Zombie Army 4, Days Gone, and Oddworld. I'm gonna make a video about Days Gone. It's one of the best games of PS4, something that you should definitely try if you haven't before, and it's definitely a game that you should play if you have a PS5, and I believe it's already one of the free games for PS5. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, And if you don't do those, make sure at least you add this game to your library.